Hello everyone, welcome back. I got in another scope from Primary Arms. Okay, now when I say I got in another scope, I mean I paid for it, and I paid full price. Well, I did manage to get the 12% discount that Primary Arms was running, but that's like available to everyone. So this thing, they list this at $800, right? That's the GLX 1 to 10 by 24 first focal plane. They're listed at $800. So they were running a 12% discount. So that basically brought it down to about $700 free shipping, and then with the sales tax, it came out to $750. Okay, so I paid $750 for this. So everything that you see on my channel, I pay for. The same way you guys pay for. I don't talk to Primary Arms. If I've got any issues, I have to basically go through their customer service email, just like you guys. Okay, so. When you go to a channel like mine that's fairly small, I mean, you get a truly impartial reviews. In this case, we're doing impartial, first out of the box impression. A reason why we're doing this is because there's certain things that I'm going to talk to you guys about now that, like, later on when it's on the gun, I'm going to probably kind of skip over, because at that point it's not that important, right? So yeah, looking at this out of the box gives me a chance to focus on some things that I normally would not focus on. Okay, so as I said, this is a 1 to 10 power LPVO. This is a 30 millimeter tube. Okay, so I have the SLX version of this. I've had it for 2 years. Okay, cover this stuff up so it doesn't blow it out of you. Yeah, I'm not at the gun range, so that's another reason why we're doing this type of a video today. So I have the 1 to 10 by 28 SLX version. That is a 34 millimeter tube. This is a 30 millimeter tube. Okay, so one of the things I had said in the past that I wish that they would make that scope, with the 34 millimeter tube in first focal plane. And the reason why I was saying that is because you would expect that the 34 millimeter has a more generous eye box. However, one of the things that I've been testing out and seeing is, because I've got the PLX, right, 1 to 8, which is a $1,500 30 millimeter, right, and I got the SLX, which is a 34, and I've been doing eye box tests where I'm kind of moving it side to side, and what I'm seeing is that there's not that much of a difference. So for however they do it, for whatever reason, it seems like when you move up to the more expensive scope, they're able to cheat it somehow, and the eye box isn't that bad. Okay, so this in 30 millimeter, even though I would have preferred it in 34, I think that through some voodoo magic, they've done pretty good with this, right? Because I was looking at it earlier. So anyway, let's get the caps off. So yeah, first let's talk about the caps. These are the cheapo caps. What I generally do with these caps is I will put electric tape over these, and I just use these as covers. I just use these as covers because what's going to happen is, if you're constantly opening and closing these things are going to break. I mean, they will replace them under their warranty, but the main reason why I need this is if the rifle's on my back and I'm going through the woods, I don't want garbage accumulating on the lens. Okay, so these are really tight, because a lot of times they're not that tight. These are fairly tight. So these will stay on there if you want to just flip them up and stuff like that. So let's see if you get that right. You're gonna have to take it off to adjust the diopter, because I know I just moved it a little bit. Looks like it's reasonably good. Okay, yeah, I can see the numbers. Okay, so that's good. So that's the first thing with the caps. I mean, yeah, they are the cheapo caps. I just cover these over so that they don't end up breaking. Let me put these in the box so that the wind doesn't take it. It's pretty windy over here. Back in the box. So they give you the instructions, which I'm probably not going to open up and even read, because this is so similar to my SLX and my PLX. And also, I did read these online, because in the days that I was waiting for this to be delivered, I already read all this stuff, so I'm not even going to take this out. They give you an exposed turret. Okay, so for those of you not familiar, what you do is you take the cap off. If you want an exposed turret, they give you these Allen keys over here. There you go. They give you these Allen keys, and what you do is you use the Allen keys. Use the Allen keys to remove these, and if you like dialing, you can have an exposed cap. Okay, so that's really nice that Primary Arms does that, and they give you the Allen keys, and they give you this really nice cleaning cloth. This is one of the bigger one. So they give you a nice big cleaning cloth. Okay, and let's put that stuff back. Okay, so that's all we need from the box. Oh, let's get this in there. Go out of here. Okay, so and they do have a nice box. I mean, actually, yeah, it's actually magnetic. So it actually, I'm like, how does this thing stay closed? Yeah, it's actually magnetic. Ah, that's interesting. Okay, so I was looking at this earlier, and one of the things I noticed is, like, I was removing the caps here, right? So the windage one, the windage cover, it catches on and it goes in real nice. It catches really easy. The elevation one, for whatever reason, I gotta compress it a little bit. Yeah, see, like right now, if you just put it on here like this and you just start turning it, it's not gonna catch. You have to compress it a little bit and then turn it. No, see, it's not catching. You gotta compress it, turn it, and then the threads finally start catching. So I think that's because of the rubber seal that they have around the end over here. Maybe it's sitting a little higher, maybe it's a little thicker, I don't know. I think that they probably should have put some extra threads on this cap here so that it can catch a little bit easier. So that's the first thing that you guys are going to run into. You got to compress the cap and push it down in order for the caps to catch. Okay, so whoops, I just hit the camera. So as far as the adjustments are in mill, which is perfect because the reticles in mills, whatever you want your turret and your reticle to be talking the same language. Okay, so this is a mill grid, and if you like dialing, right? Because a lot of times if you're shooting at distance, you might want to dial. I would put the other turret on here. Well, actually, I wouldn't even bother. I would just use this. Or just unscrew it and use this. So you can dial up on this. So as far as how these feel, you can hear it and feel it. So it's audible and tactile. So it feels nice, same as my PLX scope. So first impression is, again, I was playing with this earlier. Even though this is the GLX version, right? Because the SLX is kind of like their bottom, like the budget. Then you got the GLX, which is in the middle, and then you got the PLX, which is at the top. This is a lot closer to the PLX. Okay, that's what my initial thoughts are already. This is a lot closer to the PLX. In fact, I don't like. Again, I have the 1:8 PLX, the PLX-C, the compact, $1,500 one. Okay, and my thoughts after having played around with this for a little bit now, it's like, you know what? I think I might want to sell that one off, right? So that was $1,500. Maybe sell that one off for like $1,300 and get like 2 more of these, right? Because initial impressions, without even mounting this on the gun, is that this comes up to level. Okay. The only thing that this doesn't seem to have that the PLX has, I mean, the PLX I think is a little bit shorter. It's a compact. Which is really not that much of an issue to me. But the other issue is that one has, and like when you go to the illumination, that one has an off between each brightness setting. Okay, so it's like 1 and then off, 2 and then off, 3 and then off. This one, you have to go all the way around. Okay, so that's like the only 2 differences I have seen between this GLX and my $1,500 PLX. Okay, so now this one, they listed at $800, and I got it with a 12% discount, so it came down to like $700, and then the shipping was free. With the sales tax, it came out to like $750. Okay, so $750 scope here, which I think is a little bit expensive. I would like to see them sell these for about $500. I mean, obviously it's less of an issue for me because I bought it, but it's a lot easier for me to recommend this to my to my to the people that I train if this is in the $500 range. Okay, $750. This is going to be out of most people's budget. Okay, the SLX one that I have that I paid that I paid $450 and now charging $450. I'm going to probably sell that one off. I'm going to probably sell it for about $350. Right. So if anybody's in Northeast PA and you want the SLX version of this, you contact me. That's $350. Which I think is the right price for that scope. I think I would like to see Primary Arms sell their 1 to 10 SLX for $350. I think that would they'd be able to grab a lot more market share and put more of these scopes into the hands of more people. Okay, so I was really happy with that SLX version. The one thing that I didn't like was that was second focal plane. Now, for the way I use these scopes, I use the reticle at all I like to use the reticle at all magnifications, especially if I'm shooting like unconventional positions where, because here's the thing, if you're in 1 power, right, you get a very generous eye box. Okay, you just hold this. I mean, without even being on the rifle, I can kind of hold this up and kind of get into position. Okay, but then what happens is if you go up to 10 power, okay, and you're like in an unconventional position, now it's a lot more of an effort to get this thing lined up. Okay, so a good place to be, right, I want to be able to dial this into, let's say, a 5 position. Okay, where now it's like, okay, I can kind of get on this pretty quickly. I'm on it, right? And now I can use I can see and use the sub tensions. Okay, so now if I'm shooting like let's say 600 yards and I've got time to get myself into a really stable position, yeah, I can go all the way up to 10. I got time to position myself, get my head in the right position, all that. But the point is that I wanna quickly, like, I wanna be able to like go from a one power, like get into a rough position, just go up to, let's say, a 4, right, and be able to pop off some shots at 300 yards, and be able to, like, use the range estimating and all that, because in the 3 power I can clearly see the sub tensions and the bullet drop and all of that. Okay, if you're in 1 power, you're not going to see that. In 1 power, everything is kind of like really shrunk down to the point where you can't see it. So I use the reticle in all magnifications, so that's why I really need a first focal plane version of this. Okay, let's now, going back and forth, moving the dial, the magnification dial back and forth. It seems a little bit looser than my other scopes. I don't know if that's specific to this one. I mean, not loose. I mean, I think it moves nice. It seems like my other ones, my PLX and my SLX, I think they seem to take a little bit more effort. I'm going to do another video where I kind of had them side by side and we'll test it out. But that's just like going on memory. This seems a lot easier, which I think some people are going to like. It's just my thing is, if it starts off too easy, sometimes it might get, down the road, it might even get easier. Now, kind of looking at this, that's interesting. I can see a little bit of grease. I don't know if that's because they over-greased it. See, let's get behind the camera. I can see some of the lubrication sort of oozing out over here. See how that shiny lubrication? So that might be the reason why this one seems like it's spinning so easy, because whoever put this together put like gobs and gobs of lubrication in there, and it's oozing out now. I don't know if that's really an issue, but I mean, yeah, just pick this up, first impressions. Yeah, it's really on the easy side, right? As far as the diopter, see how that feels. Like, I don't see anything oozing out of the diopter. Yeah, that also turns really, really easy. Much easier. It seems like this, like everything on this scope is spinning a lot easier than my PLX and my SLX. And again, I don't know if that's specific to this one. Some people might say, hey, this is really nice and easy, but we'll see down the road if it gets too easy. Okay? If it stays where it is right now, then it'll be fine. Okay, so that's an interesting point. Now, I really like the throw lever that Primary Arms uses. I think they got the perfect height, where it's not too long, it's not too short. This height right here is perfect. The older ones have a much shorter one. Like the first ones had like a really short one, you know, like a really, really short one. And then there was another version that came after this, which I think was a little bit higher. This is the right height. Now one of the things I just noticed, like, it's the screws that went into it look like they're stainless steel. So if you don't like having shiny things, that might be an issue for you. It's not an issue for me. But yeah, those are nice. Those screws can be reflective at the wrong time at the wrong place. But for me, it's fine. I mean, I don't care. If anything, I would just like put a Sharpie on it if that was an issue, but it's not. Okay. So let's see. So we talked about diopter. We talked about the throw. I think we already covered the clicks on this. Here, hold on. Audible and tactile. So that feels perfect. I mean, that feels like it's in the sweet spot. That's just perfect. Okay, so I already talked about the caps. The windage the threading on the windage seems to, you know what, I think it's specific to this cap, because this is the elevation one. I'm putting it here on the side, and it's not, like, I gotta really compress it in order for it to grab. There you go. Yeah, so it's, the threads on this cap are just a little bit off. Let me see if I go to the top. Yeah, the top caught nice. So this was originally on the windage side. Catches nice there. Yeah, I gotta compress it in order for these caps to really catch. So I think that's probably specific to this specific cap that I got. The threads are probably like just a little bit shorter, and you know, but I mean, but once I compress it and it goes in, it catches. Okay. As far as the batteries on this side, here, let me get a coin so I can undo this. Pull that, turn that. Okay, so they don't, sometimes they give you an extra battery in this compartment. They don't. I mean, when they do, the cap ends up being a lot wider. So this is probably fine. I would rather have an extra battery in the grip of the rifle than have the caps stick out unnecessarily. So they give you a daily max battery, 2032. Okay, let's get this back in there. Come on, having issues with threads today. There we go, guys. So this one I think was just a me issue, me just lining this up right. But the elevation turret, I think that the threads on that were just like a little bit short. So we got it there. Okay, so let's talk about the illumination. So they give you 2 night visions, which I really don't use, and then they give you 1 through 9. They don't give you an off position between its brightness setting, which is nice. I think that's the main difference between, as far as I can see, between the GLX and their PLX. Okay, so let's go to 9. So in 9, so this thing gives you 2 circles, an inner circle and an outer circle. So in 9, basically the inner circle and the outer circle illuminate. So that's what illuminates with this. That was in 3 power. I go to 1 power. Yeah, in 1 power you're only going to see the outer circle. The inner circle shrinks down to nothing, and that's fine. And this is a very well designed reticle. I mean, I really, this is the fix, because I have the PLX with the M8 Raptor. one of my complaints with that reticle was that, because that one relies on the outer posts to guide you to the center, and I felt that the outer posts were like not thick enough to really guide you to the center. I mean, it worked, but it's like you had to work a little bit harder to find the center. They correct this in this because they keep the outer posts in about the same position, right? But what they do is they give you an outer circle, and that perfects this. I mean, like, I would definitely recommend people buy this GLX, this with the mill grid, 1 to 10 by 24 with the mill grid. I would definitely recommend this over the PLX with the MA, because of in 1X you can, like, I can just hold this up, like again, I'm not even shouldering this on a rifle. I can get up, bring it up here, and I can get on target really fast. Actually, I have the illumination on. Oh, as far as the illumination, yeah, this, I mean, it's a very bright day today. You're gonna barely see it on a bright day, which is fine, because the reticle is so good. The reticle is so good. Is such a good design that you can just use the etching and come up and get on target. Actually, let me see if I can get you guys behind the So as you can see, the scope walls are like pretty thin on this. So again, this is very PLX like. It's gonna be out of focus, but hey everyone, I wanted to show you guys this reticle. I mean, I'm only using this now for a day, and I think this is the best LPVO reticle out there. So this uses a combination of both, like the duplex or the German 4 with those thick posts to guide you to the center, but also it gives you a horseshoe in the center. So without illumination, I mean, you can get on target. Now, when you zoom in or go up in magnification, you see an inner horseshoe with the details of the mill grid. I'm not going to spend too much time in this video talking about how to use this, okay? Because first of all, it's very similar to it's almost exactly like the one I've already talked about in the SLX version of this. So in this video, I'm just going to be talking about the differences. So, I mean, the nice thing about this is, like, in all magnifications, I can use those measurements, right? So, like, let's say, let's see, hold on, there's a target over there. All right, so I got a guy standing right there. So I can use the measurements. I can see that he's standing. So he's at about 300 yards. Okay, so I don't actually have to, like, I can do that in all magnifications, which is one of the things that really annoyed me about the second focal plane version of this. So this has illumination. That's 9. So it's a bright day, and a bright day you're barely going to be able to see it. So this illumination also has what they call auto live. What that means is if the gun doesn't move for like 3 minutes, it'll automatically shut off, and then it'll shake awake if you pick up the gun. Now, the way I would use this is I would keep this in illumination 2, so that you can't see it at all when you're outdoors. But if you go into like a dark basement or something, you'll have illumination. So it doesn't use up the battery, and you have illumination when you really need it. Let's see, I got a guy out there. Let's see if we can size that guy up. So he's past 500 yards. So let's see. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the 4. So if I go to the 4 and I put because normally, like, you would do like belt to head over here, but since he's past the 500 yards, this guy is, let's say, if I put his feet at the half line and the top comes up near his head, so he's at about 800 yards. So that's how I would use this past 500 yards. So if I go to this guy over here, yeah, size him up, he's at 300. So this is really an excellent reticle. This has that outer circle, which I think is what was missing from the, like that was the thing that I think was keeping the M8 Raptor reticle from being like perfect. So they kind of perfected it here, I think. So you see that horseshoe's definitely, that's basically the thing I'm using to aim. I mean, the outer posts are nice too, but I mean, you really need a combination of the two.